Hold the camera still, fool. Oh, 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 oh. Hello, people. Welcome to another episode of Iron Fist Mining. Now, no, I'm not down at the creek. I'm in my garage. This is the day before I go down. The reason I'm showing this is because I'm fabricating something. A better sucker. So stick around, stay tuned. I'll show you how to make one. People, dudes, dudettes. Either that, you can buy one from me. For a prize. Anyway, let's go. Okay, so over the course of the past 4 days, I've been making this. This little piece of plastic came off it was a corner piece, like an L-shaped thing that they put on for strapping, and then the white one was a scrap piece, and this piece of foam was a piece of packaging material. The reason I'm using it is in the first one I built, when water goes in there, it gets in these little craters, and it keeps the tube lubed, so you don't get squeak, 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 squeak every time you pull it. This gasket here is actually off of one of my boots. I thought it was all foam like that, and then I cut into it and found, you know, those cushion pocket things. I'm like, damn, so I don't like these. What I got for a fix is that, and one of these. Now I've already have one of these right there. Flap, flap, flap. Okay. But I got this one. It already has a hole in it, and it's got this groovy groove that I think is gonna fit in there bitching. But if not, I got a bunch of these. These were $2, and this one was $2. $2.43. They're for toilets. Flush valve seal. And this one's for a sink. Flat sink stopper. Local home supply store. And what holds it together is just a riser for a sprinkler and a cap, and then a coupler. But that's all I'm going to show you for right now. I got to make a couple parts, and then we'll assemble it, and you'll see how this all works. We'll even do a test and blow the yappy gold sucker right out of the water without even having a valve. I'm going to show everybody what a bunch of dickheads you guys are, yappy, because your product sucks for what you're charging. I could do it cheaper and move 10 times the material your POS does. And I ain't just saying that, because mine actually does it. My 2-inch should smoke that. This one, my 2-inch, it's pretty big. Got to stand back so you can see it all. Anyway, let me get to fabricating, and then you'll see the 3-incher. 2-incher? Works good. 3-incher gonna work bitchin'. Okay, so the whatever this was is now cut down. This bevel, outside bevel, is actually perfect. I have that. 4 rubber stoppers. I could have more, but I just made 4 remnants. 2 UHMW retaining washers. 1 foamy thing. I have more of this too. And then the heel plate, which I'm not going to use. To round it off, it's a 6-inch riser, threaded on both ends, and then a cap and a coupling. And that is just for the, you know, you're just going to lay all this stuff on the best way you think. What I'm thinking is, if these aren't perfect, no matter how I lay them in there, one will grab or maybe leak somewhere, but that one will catch a slack, and then this one will catch that one slack, and then this one will catch that one slack, and then this one is going to eat the slack. So these are all within a 1/16 of an inch of the wall, so they're going to help guide it. These are within 1/32, so it's also going to help guide it. Now, I've got some other things, like the problem I was having with this is, see how close the draw tube is, and it's open-ended. I was smashing my fingers in there pretty bad enough to where it left lumps on my bones. So I've got something to fix that problem. Plus this sloppy up at the top thing going on. So I'm going to fix that. Even though this thing works bitchin', I'm going to make it bitchiner. So stick around. I don't know how I'm going to assemble this yet, but I wanted to show you the parts, the amount of parts I'm using. So in case you're going to make something similar, all you got to do is just find something to fit in your tube. And then you want your rings and such to be a tight fit to slide in there. This one barely fits in there, to be honest with you. But that's what I want because it squeezes against the wall. These by themselves will pull pretty good suction, but not like the rubber. And not like this flexible, super flexible plastic. Very flexible. And it doesn't rip or tear, so. And it doesn't go bad, and it doesn't freaking rust. So, shut up, Dan, and get back to work. It's always leaky oil stains. Man, I stepped right in that. Dude, piggy hot rod guy. Anyway, 2-inch plunger. I showed you guys this before. The foam is really doing its job. Look, it's still holding water, okay? That's where I got the idea from. Except that thing's been shoved down hella far. In the 2-inch tube, a little bit of wear on the end from jamming it in the dirt. New plunger assembly. And this one I was having problems with because I put a spark plug cap up in there. And if a rock got in there, it would break suction and be all... So, I put a cap in there, so that's not going to happen. A bigger piece of foam. Instead of having the boot, I put that one piece I cut on, and then I had a 3-inch cap, and I just cut that out. And then put a couple of these on. And now the tube, the 3-inch tube, comparatively speaking to the 2-inch, you get the idea? It's going to hold a lot more. I put a cup link on the end that goes down to a 2-inch pipe, so when I pull it up, it's going to rest in there on that rim when I pull it out of the water, thus losing less. So, I got the idea from my little crack sucker, so we'll see how this thing works. It's a lot longer than the other one, dude. Whoo-wee. It's going to hang out. So, let's test it out. This is a 4.5 gallon bucket. We'll see how fast I can get rid of the water. Eat that, yeah, you little sucker. Piece of shit. Anyway, most of it stays inside there. I think it's a little too long. So there you have it. Done deal. The handle. Now I'm not going to smash my hand, and I've got a longer reach. One thing I will say, I need a handle, and I was thinking about using this. But I'd have to drill a hole and put a bolt on it. Another thing I added was this guide sleeve. It's actually for, they ship me stuff at work with rods in it. See, rods. And this is kind of in the packaging tube, this little piece of plastic that happens to fit perfectly inside there. So I was thinking about kind of, right there, kind of action. I could probably do that today. Just drill right through the side there and put a bolt. Now, that way it keeps the cap on. But you saw how quick this thing pulls water. I did have to cut a little extra off. It was just too long. It was too awkward. So, or no, actually it was that much. The biggest cost on doing the 3-inch is the 3-inch pipe itself. The tube that I got, it was $14 versus that one being the 2-inch tube. I paid $4. It's just more material, man. And the tube's a little bent. I'm hoping if I sit it out here overnight, kind of crooked sauce, it'll beam back. But for the most part, it's done, dude. Added that for some better handle action. More ergonomically correct. This thing is going to suck the hell out of the riverbed, dude. I'm taking both of them. That way I have a backup plan. But now they're relatively the same size. So it'll still fit on the cart. And I can take all this other junk off of it. So until tomorrow, ding-dongs. And I might have a handle on. Handle. I want handle. Okay, people. So it's Saturday. Today is the Saturday for me. For you, it's whatever day you're watching this at. So, down at the spot. Now, yesterday while I was at work, Todd Osborn came in to pick up his monthly supply to build his sluices. I just noticed that the goat fence is right there. And they have some goats in the area. So, anyway, he was telling me how the gold falls in here. And listening to Todd talk, I told him if he ever needs somebody to come out and film him while he's working or something, let me know and I'll come do it. Because if you hear Todd talk, you know he knows what he's talking about. 7 generations of gold diggers, okay? So, he was talking about when it floods, because I was telling him I find a lot on the surface, and he goes, that's your flood or surge layer. And then when you go deep down, the gold naturally wants to keep settling, so if there isn't a man animal like me out here getting it off the surface, it will go to the bottom. Which stands to reason, so it's confirmed. All I'm saying is Todd knows his stuff, and I mean, if you, there's a fish jump. If you go onto YouTube and type in Bazooka Gold Trap, he's got 2 videos up explaining what it does, but the rest are other people using his stuff, so if that doesn't say it, it's not like you guys are using my stuff or buying my things I make, so the dude gets legend status for that. So, he was like, you have an option, Dan. You can either vacuum all of this to get all the surface, to get a lot of gold, or you find where it sunk, okay? Where it hasn't really been disturbed, and that would be out here for me. And also over here, because this thing, Todd also told me about this too, that there's a spot way upstream from here, about 5, 6, maybe 7 miles, where he dug, okay? And that in there really looks no different than up here. But Ken can even admit, him and his son came down here and dug for a little bit. If you try to put your shovel in out there, it's tink, like you're hitting the top of a rock. Even if you're aiming at the dirt, it's still tink. It's because all that stuff's compacted, and Todd mentioned one day he dredged a spot. When he finally scratched it loose, he got an abundant amount of gold. So I'm going to try a little here. There's another one right over there. I'm going to try that one. I'm going to try today to suck all the freaking gold out of here before the goats come. They have this big ass dog that watches them, man. He's a Newfoundland and he's big and he hates my ass, so I'm gonna keep my eye out for that dick. Anyway, I'm gonna dig. Got all my gear on my car to do. Somebody asked me, Dan, why is the wheel so big? So when I take it to naturey places, I can get over rocks and stumps. That's why. Otherwise, I put a little bitty ass wheel in there. I tried little bitty ass wheels on there, but it gets hung up on rocks and stuff. And it makes its own kickstand. 2 buckets, 2 sluices, 2 dredges. Left the shovel at home today, dude. And my boots. And my classifier. That's it. That's all I brought today. So all the gold I get today will be sucked. So stick around, stay tuned, people. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so start up, I was using the 3-inch. Did a really good job, but it is hard to wield that pig. But just because the handle should probably be down here instead of up here, but I'm gonna have to like figure out some kind of hoopy thing, find a bigger grinder thing to go over it, because when you try to pick it up, it's all dirt. I can't do it. You can kind of do it that way. It's heavy. So I got out the 2-inch again, but it works bitchin' when you get it down to the bottom. I mean, it vaporizes everything. Gone. See you later. So I got out the 2-inch, but I broke the end, the little... I suffered a breakdown, so I got out some tape and a knife and junk, and I fixed it, so I'm back up and running. I cleaned out that hole right there, and I didn't get very much gold. I may not be the only one working this spot anymore. So I'm going to jump around and see if I can improve my gold. I'm cleaning it out pretty good, so that's the gold in there that I've caught so far. I don't know if this camera's going to focus on it or not, but yeah, trust me, there's a little bit of gold in there. I need to get a lot of it, so I got to get back to work. Alright, so I'm taking a little break and hoping the battery don't die. One of you guys was talking to me about, you saw this other gold sucker that has this one-way valve. And the problem I had with the one-way valve that I had is it, like, if a rock gets stuck in there or something, anything obstructs it, it fails. And a lot of these other guys' stuff, when you pull on them, you notice that water blasts out of the top. Now, if water's blasting out of the top, and you didn't sink it under the water, your seal's failing. Now, the water will create a seal, but all I'm saying is, if you're going to make a sucker, shouldn't it suck? So, the problem I have with these flaps and stuff is they fail too quick, so I'm still catching some pretty good gold, and I've actually moved down to the second waterfall. What's kind of happening here is that pitch is flattening out, so I'm going to kind of blow out some of this stuff, and I found some pretty decent junk. It's not going to show up in there, but I'll show you out in this light. It's a real nice day. Everything's super green. I'm not confining myself to one spot either. I am trying, inevitably, to get down to the bottom. And where these rocks are, I set my sluices up, and 99.9% of the gold got caught in the first one, and the second one held like wasn't even worth cleaning out. Anyway, I'm kind of just reaching around underneath all these big rocks that are out there. I don't know if they'll show up. Maybe if I shoot upstream. Big rocks and such. I'm just sniping the big things and then kind of flipping over a rock and then moving on. I'm trying to get as much area as I can. Down over here I can see a huge buildup of black sand, but every time I go down there I don't get a lot of gold. The pieces are coming out bigger out of here, so I'm figuring if I can get down, which this section of it isn't that deep. I'm right by the bottom, so we'll see if I get some bigger chunks or not. I think this is where the bigger stuff's washing up. Medium, big, and tiny. Isn't that weird? It's weird. Although there are bigger rocks here. And Dale, just go out and get the gold. Quit dorking off, man. Nobody's touched the gold there. Just go and get it. FRO the gold, man. FRO it. Think about that. You are FROing the gold right off. Hey, you want to hear some other news too? Wednesday, 4 days ago, my back tire blew, and my work forgot to call in my hours, so I didn't get paid for this week. But I'll try to get some gold and make myself feel better. Oh, thank you. Oh, that was nice. Shut up. I'm gonna get back to getting some gold. Trying to hold the camera still, and I'm a spaz. Trying to hold the camera still, and I'm a spaz. My gold sucker don't have a valve, and I ain't screwing around. I'm still getting gold. And if it falls out of the end, it falls in that hole, and I suck it up eventually. Wah, 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 no flap needed. If one of you guys make one with a flap that works good, that you don't got to move and it hooks right to your sleeves, go ahead and bring it or show me. Promote. You know what? If you guys come up with inventions, you know people are watching this, just say, hey, everybody, look at this, and post it in the comments. Feel free to promote upon my page. I'm a helper. And then tell all your buddies, watch my crazy show. If they don't get sick. Woo, 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 I'm making you sick, you're gonna puke. Whoa, hold the camera still, fool. Oh, 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 oh. Yep. Going a little crazy. My back hurts, man. Alright, freakettes. Here's my gold. Not bad for a little day's worth of work. 6 hours. And some soap. And a dog. Gotta mow the yard. Grass is getting deep. But I did get some gold. I didn't get a paycheck. And I had a blowout. And I made a new dredge. The 3-inch, a little hard to use. It needs to be shorter. It's too big. Once it gets full, dude, forget it. But that's all I'm going to show you because I got other stuff to do. So, thanks for tuning in and watching Ironfish Mining, people. Keep digging. Find the shiny. Find the shiny. I say hello to Milo. Hello, Milo. 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 You happy? Want to play ball? You want to walk? You want to do something? Hey, Milo, sit there. Right on.